iRacing has long established itself as the leader in competitive online racing. With such competition, we all naturally bear witness to our fair share of crashes and carnage. Throughout our iRacing careers, it's an inevitability that at some point you'll end up in a few crashes of your own. It can be frustrating when all you want to do is advance a license rank or gain some precious iRating, but people can't seem to stop crashing into you. Today I'd like to share some tips and tricks to avoid being involved in crashes and carnage out on track. A key aspect of racing is the evaluation of risk versus reward. You'll find this quickly changes how you drive, specifically when it comes to aggressiveness and margin for error. The concept is simple. For every situation, you have to think about the best possible outcome versus the worst possible outcome. Take this example from a recent GT3 race where I was punted.
Come on, really? What baffles me, he wasn't even in a position to gain anything. He just dumped me. Like, I know it wasn't intentional. It's an honest mistake. It happened. But it doesn't make it any less frustrating when people just don't think.
The leader's just
Like,
done a 144.08.
It's lap 1 and we're out. Cockpit. At this point, I'm there.
The Ferrari either misjudged their braking zone or broke too aggressively for the situation and slammed into my rear end. Let's put ourselves into the shoes of the Ferrari and evaluate the best and worst case scenario. We're moving into the bus stop, which is not a corner where you can easily overtake when side by side, no less when on the outside, no less when not alongside, no less when the car you're trying to pass is already side by side with another car. So realistically, there isn't a chance of getting past. So best case scenario, you maintain your position from the car behind. We also know that there is a high chance of crashing to the bus stop due to the tight, high-speed nature of the corner and a tendency to unsettle a race car. So worst case scenario, you end up in a wreck involving multiple cars, which obviously occurred here. It's clear to see that there's no need to drive this aggressively in this situation, so backing off and waiting to make a move in the following corners would have been a much better idea. When driving, you really want to put your car in the situations where a crash is a likely possibility. You also have to remember that you never know who you're driving against. While there are certainly times you'll find yourself in battle with a competent racer with whom you can push the limits of wheel-to-wheel racing, more often than not, it's smart to leave margin for error when racing because not everybody is Alex Palou. Patience is key. This is a virtue in life but also applies to racing. Oftentimes you'll be stuck behind a slow car during a race. This can be one of the most frustrating experiences a sim racer can have, as you're much faster but losing crucial lap time behind the car. As tempting it may be to launch one up the inside into Corvette corner, that rarely ends well for either party. For that specific example, waiting for turn 8 or better yet Canada corner will likely produce a better result. In general, waiting a few corners and going for a more sensible move is often a good idea, as there's no point in ruining both your days over one position. Not to mention the fact that it's a pet peeve for many of us, including myself, when you have to take avoiding action because a faster car behind decides to put on a move which was never on in the first place. That leads me on to another point. Be prepared to get out of the way if a car behind performs an audacious, sketchy, or even dangerous move. It's always better if you get out the way than get involved in a wreck, even if you wouldn't be to blame for the incident. Unfortunately, sometimes it's best to let the wannabe Max Verstappens of the sim racing world get their way. Would you rather leave the race with a P7 finish or a DNF over a possible P6? Now of course, there are levels to all of this, especially in multi-class racing. If you're too patient while in a high traffic scenario and always leaving the door open, you risk being eaten up like a bag of popcorn on $5 Movie Tuesdays. Management of your overtakes is one of the keys to success in racing, and the key to gaining ground on the competitors is making smart decisions and being calculated in your moves. This one is short and simple. Respect yellow flags. The 3 or 4 tenths you might gain from flying through a yellow zone around blind corners is never worth the behemoth of a crash you'll cause if it goes wrong. Sidebar on this point, if you drop the car and end up off track, which we have all done at some point, don't worry about it. Remember to look at the relative timing before joining the track, especially if you're facing a wall or can't see the track in general. Also, don't forget that if you end up in an accident on track, to remember these 3 rules. 1. Hold your brakes. 2. Hold your brakes. And 3. Take a guess, hold your brakes. Oncoming traffic will always maneuver around your car based on where your car is. If your car starts moving when other cars are around, people won't have enough time to react and contact will occur. If you're partially on track and can easily and safely reverse or drive a few feet to get onto the grass, by all means move to get off track, but don't be so impatient to rejoin the race that you collect other cars in the process. Please don't be that guy. Communication on track is key, and while using voice chat to directly speak with the competitors can be useful, you'll find that more often than not people speak to you with their cars. If you see a car moving erratically while following you, being all over the place on the pace lap, or getting involved in other incidents, it's reasonable to assume that they'll do the same when racing you, so giving some extra space can be warranted. While a less extreme example, a car's position when following to a braking zone will let you know the move they wish to put on. If they're driving in a slipstream and pulling out before brake zones, they're likely going for an overtake and will try to occupy the space next to you. But if a following car tends to sit in your drive through brake zones and straights, they're likely following you through the track for fuel saving, to get away from the pack, or to follow you through traffic, but not necessarily looking for an overtake. Keeping an eye on the cars around you will prepare you for all types of situations on track. Limit point turn 1 pile up, you were ready for that. Mandatory Charlotte turn 11 pile up, you were ready for that. Spa lap 1 pile up, okay, maybe nothing can save you from that one. Lastly, be predictable on track. A lot of incidents occur because the competitors are unaware of a move being put on them. The more predictable you can be, the better. Communicate your intentions with your car's placement and mannerisms. Treat racing as if you're driving on the road in real life. You would never want to change lanes without a signal, blow through stop signs, or merge across 3 lanes 20 feet before your exit. When you drive, you expect the cars around you to act in a predictable manner, so everyone can get to the destination safely and stress-free. So the same concept applies in sim racing. While I hope some of you found this video helpful, especially newcomers to iRacing, remember that even though this video was targeted towards iRacing specifically, the tips apply well to every other sim out there, whether it be ACC, R-Factor, the original Assetto Corsa, or Dirt Rally 2.0. Alright, maybe not Dirt Rally 2.0. Doing these things will help make the sim racing world a better place for all of us to enjoy. Thank you to everyone who chose to watch and stick around for the end. If you enjoyed the video, the like button is always down there if you wish, and my Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram are down below. Before I leave, I want to address the elephant in the room. This channel has only seen one upload in the past year, with a multiple month gap before that. Unfortunately, I'm at a point where I don't have the time to make videos as consistently as I used to, say, 2 years ago, but the channel is not dead. I have not dropped off the I have not dropped off the face of the planet, and I do still enjoy producing content, so when I end up with a free period, videos will come out. Who knows if I will next be back in January or next September, but until then, remember to stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, and enjoy your afternoon.